Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about file handling in Python. Now, what are file handlings? File handlings are handling different kind of files, be it a text file, be it an image file, be it an audio file, whatever kind of file that comes in your way when you are trying to execute something with the file, you are trying to analyze the file. The first and foremost thing that you need to do is to store the file. Okay, the same way we store a file into our laptop and we access the files all by ourselves, right? So the difference between storing a file permanently and having the file open for a random moment is something like using the RAM and using the SSD that you have in our laptop. When we are opening a file that we are not saving into our laptop, that is accessing the RAM or the random access memory of our system. But when we are storing or when we are saving the file into our laptop, it is going into the permanent storage. Okay, and we need the file in our permanent storage in order to access them at every single point of time. Random access means what? That we can access it whenever we are opening the file or whenever we are clicking on something that is relevant to the file. Okay, so now we will look that how exactly this file handling can be done with the help of Python. Okay, now so let's get into it. So, let's coming back to the screen. Now we'll look into the implementation of Python file handling. Okay. Now, today for a change, I'm not using Google Colab. I'm using Visual Studio Code, which is basically an IDE only. But the particular platform that I'm using, that is using the Jupyter Notebook only. So, if you see that if I write anything, right, but the way I used to do in Colab, it is absolutely the same thing. So, if I execute something over here, something like this, it will work just the way it used to work in Google Colab, right? So just to clear that part, there is no difference in which I was using prior and which I am using now. Same way the notebook is going to be uploaded, and this time I have a GitHub repo that I'll be sharing in the GitHub repo link will be shared in the video description or in the comments, so you can find it from there. All the notes would be there. All right. So let's begin. So there are different modes that we have in file handling. Okay, the very first mode that we are going to talk about is the R mode. Okay, so let's write it like this. Let me make this a markdown. Modes in file handling. Okay, let okay. So the first one, let me make it Python. Yeah, okay. R mode. It's a small. It simply means it's a read mode. Okay, how it exactly works? So let's say I have a file. Okay, let me also create a file over here. Let's say within this only I'm creating a file, or let's say yeah, let me create a file here. No, not here. Let me make it outside here. Okay, so within this I'm creating a file. Let's say sample.txt. Okay, it's a basic text file. I'll put up something over here. Let's say hi, this is a tutorial on Python handling. Okay, so I save it, keep the file over here, and I close it. Now I have a file that is placed over here, right? Sample.txt. Okay, let me close it. Our first issue over here is to identify where the particular file is stored. Okay, so we have a subfolder called data where the sample txt is stored. So what we will do, we will first go ahead and we will access the path. Okay, for accessing the path, we will use a module called OS, That's an inbuilt module in Python. Okay, done. Then I will provide a file path. Path is nothing but the particular road. Okay, so when we want to travel to somewhere, we have a particular road, right? That through which path we should go, like from where I should be going from Kolkata to Delhi, Kolkata to Mumbai, and things like that. So it has a specific path where the train goes, where the plane goes. In the same way, this is a file path where the file exactly is. Okay, we are identifying the location. And where is the location? The location is something that we can get directly from here. So if we go up over here and if we do a right click and we see copy relative path, okay, and then if we paste it, we are going to get it, okay. Now an ideal scenario would be passing on a R variable over here. This simply means that I am going to treat this entire thing as a raw string, okay. So, why do we use this R? We are using this R to identify this particular part as a raw string, okay? To ensure that whenever I am trying to use this path, whichever variable that I pass this on to, this is going to be treated as a string and the path can be accessed easily, okay? So that's the only way. Done, executed. Um, Now if I go ahead and just do this, I'm just doing this to show you guys. You'll be able to see that I'm getting the file path. Okay. Now, first task is done. What is our next task? Our next task is to go into this path and read this file. Okay, this sample txt file. For that, what we need to do? We need to do this. If os dot path exists. Why am I doing this? Because this is a safe way to do things. We always need to make sure that whichever file that we are trying to access, that path actually exists. Okay. So imagine there is a path that is given over here, but somehow that is not existent. Okay. That that is somehow that is present. So there is no point accessing that, right? If a path is not there, you won't be able to use it. Okay. So you always have to make sure that the path exists. Okay. And then I need to pass on the file path here as an argument. Done. Then with open, I am opening the file. Okay. I am passing the file path. That's my argument over there. Here I am using R. So remember, guys, this R and this R is different. This is the R that I am using to utilize the read mode. Okay. Utilize the read mode so that I can read the entire file that is there. Okay. All right. And let's name it anything. So I'm just naming the particular file variable where I am holding this particular path as f. Okay, print f dot read. Now you might say that you could have directly written print f. Why are you doing f dot read? Imagine this f that I am storing is an object. Okay, you remember in the object oriented programming we had classes and objects where every single object had different method based on the class. So just think of the particular file handling as a class, and these are different methods within that class. Okay, read, write, that we'll talk about, and f is just an object that you are assigning. Okay, it would be easier for you to connect the dots and understand that how exactly this is working. Okay, else, sorry, else we'll go over here, print file not found. Okay. Okay, so why they are not finding the file path? Data sample text. Do I need to pass on anything? Let's check. Oh, did I not save it? No, I think I saved it. Data sample text. I think I need to go. Oh, I think it's in a different subfolder, right? So I might need to. go out of it. I'll tell you what I'm doing. Yeah, right. So here you see the data is actually in a different subfolder. It's not straight away out. So I have my notebook in the Python intermediate folder, and to access the sample.txt, the program actually need to go out of this Python intermediate and then again go into the data folder. So two step they need to take out, right? For that, just see these two dots. So for in one dot, I am just going outside of my Python intermediate folder, and with another dot, I am getting into a new folder that is called data. Okay. So these things are very crucial to understand, that how exactly you want to navigate from one file to another file, from one folder to another folder. Okay. So this is very important. I hope this is clear, everyone. Now, it can very well happen that the particular file that you have that contains multiple lines, right? So let's say I am having this. Okay. Hi, this is tutor Python. This is about different modes. This is a part of Python intermediate training. Okay, something like that. We have different lines over here, right? Now if I go, I saved it, again print the path. Okay, I'm getting all the lines together, right? But what if I don't want to read all the lines, I want to read a specific line? Then how exactly can we achieve that? In that case, what we can do if we want to read a specific line? So let's say my target line that I want to use is, I want to read the line number 3. Okay, so what I can do, then once we have defined what particular line that we would like to fetch, what I can do, I can simply iterate over our text file. Okay, so to iterate over our text file, what I need to do, I will first use my with function. Okay, with open, and I already have my file path, right? So I'll simply pass on my file path. What do I want to do? I want to read. Okay, and I'll take the variable name as f, just like before. But this time, what I want to do, I want to run a loop. Okay, so let's say there are two items. Whatever you want to name, you can name. I'm just naming it as current line, and let's say the content. Content is basically the content of the line. Okay, in, I think the spelling is correct. Enumerate. Okay. Enumerate. Okay. So what is enumerate? Enumerate is a function into your loop that helps you to iterate through multiple items at once. Okay. So it helps you to do that. What I'll do, the first thing that I would like to iterate on is the element f. Then see this, start at 1. What I'm trying to define, I'm trying to define that all the lines that I have, the starting point line is going to be 1. Why do I need to define this? Because you remember, right? By default, the index of everything starts from 0. So I do, like, if I have 3 lines, I cannot say that this is line number 0, 1 and 2, right? This should be 1, this should be 2, this should be 3. Okay. That's why I need to define that what our starting line should be. I am starting with 1. Then if current line equals to target line, okay, then print content. Then I want to break, I don't want to print anything else, and let me run it. This is a part of Python intermediate training. The third line you are getting, you change it to 2, you'll get the second line. Okay, we will do 1, You'll get first line. You make it 4, there is nothing. So blank will be returned. Clear everyone how the read mode works? Alright. Now we'll talk about write mode. What is write mode? Write mode, by the name, as you can see, helps you to write elements or the content into your file, right? But here is one catch. With write mode, if the file does not exist, okay, then it creates the file. That's the first thing. Secondly, it overwrites the existing content that you have. Okay, so two things that we need to remember over here, right? Let's try to understand that how this exactly works. So let's first try to understand this one. The With the write mode, if the file does not exist, then it creates the file. Okay, so let's say I want to open something like this. With open, let me create a new file path. Okay, file path. I will copy the content of this, the one that I have. All only I'll make one change over here. Okay, why it is not copying? Pin selection. Okay, why it is not allowing me to select? Okay, so I'm passing on the file path here, but I am naming it as sample one. Okay, that's the first thing. But there is no sample one here, right? Just keep your eyes over here. Okay, there is no sample one file. So what I'll do, I will pass on with open file path. Let me name it file path 1. Yeah, I'll name it file path 1. Okay, then I will use the W. W stands for the write. Okay, as F. Then what I'll do, I don't know, F dot write. You remember F dot read we used to read the file? F dot write definitely is used to write files. Okay, so let's say this is line 1. Whatever you want to write, you can write. Okay, and this is basically a line separator. Okay, that the one that you can use. Then let's say this is a second line. This is line 2, something like this. Okay, I have this. There is no sample file over here, as you can see. Clear? Now see what will happen the moment I execute this. See, sample on txt got created. Okay, this is line 1, this is line 2. We got both the files. I hope this is clear, everyone, that how this worked. All right. So the first argument is valid, right? With write mode, if the file does not exist, it is going to create a new one. Let's look into the second argument. What is the second argument? It overrides the existing content. Okay. So let's say I already have a sample txt over here. Okay. So in sample txt, if I want to write something, let's say I'll copy this. I'll paste it here. Instead of file path 1, I'll use file path, only file path, because only file path leads me to this one, right? The sample text. So now take a close look at this. I'll keep these things into separate window. Okay. Okay. So here is my code. Here is the existing line that we have in the sample txt. Okay. Now let's say I want to write something over here. I'm writing this is overwriting the existing file. Okay, something like that. Okay, I save it. Now the moment I run this, okay, the moment I run this, this data is going to be modified. Okay, see, see, we have the overwritten content stored here. So we are clear with these two statements, right? The first statement with write mode, if the file does not exist, then it creates the new one. And if it does exist, then it is going to overwrite the existing one. Okay? Clear everyone? Perfect. The next one that we have is called append mode. Okay? By the name itself, I think it is clear to you that what it does. Appending is what? Appending is nothing but adding the element at the end of your file. Okay, the existing file that you have, the existing content that you have, append mode gets you the content added at the very end of your current file. Okay, so if I do this, let's say now I have a sample txt where I have this written. This is overwriting the existing file. Okay, if I do this with open, let's say I'll pass on file path 1, I mean only file path. Okay, let's leave it like that. And currently I'm using a as an append method as f. Okay, and I want to write something. Okay, f write, let's say this line is getting appended. Okay, something like that. Done. Now see, I'll again take it up over here. Okay, I'll run this. See, the line got appended in the existing file itself. Okay, I hope everyone is clear that how this is working. The append mode is basically adding the element at the end of your file, while the write mode is absolutely overwriting in the existing content that you have. I hope this is clear, everyone. Now, let's start to modify things a little bit. What do you mean by modify? There are, barring this R, W, and A method, there are methods like R plus, W plus. Let's see that what that exactly does. So let's say if I talk about the R plus method, the one that you have, what that basically does, R plus method is basically for both reading and writing at once. Okay, how exactly that works? So let's say, look into this carefully. Okay, I will copy this only. Let's copy this. Okay, now what I am going to do, instead of a, I am going to use R plus over here. Okay, now what I would like to do here, I would like to, let's say, first I will read. Okay, f dot read at the first thing. Then I will use a method called f dot seek. What this exactly does, seek shifts your pointer. Okay, pointer simply means, see, this is the pointer, right? When I'm writing, the pointer is after the 0. If I move it here, the pointer will go over here. So f dot seek 0 stands for I want to move the pointer to the very beginning of the file. Okay, so in the append method, what was happening, at the end of the file the content was being written, but if I move my pointer to the very beginning of the file, where would I get the element written? It's in the beginning, right? So once I have it, what I can do, I can simply do f dot write, and I can say this is the, okay, let me just, yeah, this is the updated, sorry, starting point. Okay, that's it. Excuse me. Now, for your benefit, what I'll do, I will also have this file open. Okay, so that you can see the change live. Okay, okay, done. I have two lines over here. If I execute this, see, this is the updated starting point. It got appended at the very beginning. Clear, everyone? I hope everyone is clear with this. Let me know if there is any doubt in the comments. Okay, all right. Now, in the same way, if we use a plus, what that do? That is basically appending and reading. Okay, so this is appending and reading. Okay, at once. I will use the same. This time, what I want to do, I want to f dot write appended line. Okay, whatever you want, you can place. Not a problem. F dot seek at 0. Then after appending, what do we want to do? I want to read. Okay, so f dot read. Okay, sorry, I think there are some spelling mistake. Yeah, should be right. All right. See, appended line came at the end. Okay, and then the pointer came back here, and this read the entire file. If I provide a full stop over here, yeah, we'll simply add a full stop. Or let's say if you want this to be in a new line, then you can simply do that here as well. Yeah, it would be a new line. Okay, I hope it's clear, everyone. Now, uh, the W plus method also does the same thing. Okay, it's write and read. So I'm not repeating the same thing. There is not much structural difference. When you practice the entire thing, you will get a hang of it. Okay. Now, a crucial thing, handling binary files. Okay. So it is not always going to be the case where you will get the text files for your analysis or for your handling, right? There can be non-text data like image data, audio data, and all. And all of these data are basically stored in a binary format. So file handling does provide you with an option to handle the binary files as well. How to do that? Let's check. Let me go ahead and let's try to open Chrome. Let's say I want to download any image. Let's say my favorite something. Okay. If I download this, okay. Oh, this is a web file. Let me see if I get any JPEG or something. Ah, I think somehow the images. Okay, it's not coming as image. Let me see what I can do. Yeah, I think this I can save as an image. Yeah, it's a JPEG image. Okay. and let me go and put this up in our file location. Okay, so where is the file location? I think here, notes, yeah. Okay, I will store it here. Done. Now if you see, messy JPEG file is already shown here, right? Then how to read that? The method is called RB, or read binary. Okay, RB method. So what to do? Let's say I am providing a binary file path. Okay, you can directly copy that, but just for making it more production ready, I'm using it like this. Okay, so I'll use the relative path for this, and I will pass on the relative path here. Okay, this is your binary file path. Done. Now what I want to do, I want to read this. To read this, what I need to do, with open, I will pass on my binary file path. Okay, then the method is going to be RB as f binary data equals to f dot read. Oh, sorry. You remember we need to go out, right? Two step. Yeah. Okay. Done. Yeah. Now see, it is stored in the binary data. Now if I go ahead and print the binary data, this is how the data is going to look like. Okay, this is entirely in the binary format, and this divide by x, the one that you are saying, that's basically your delimiter. Okay, images are basically stored in the system like this. Now to show you that this binary data is actually the image that I have taken, what we can do, we can go ahead and reconvert this ones. Okay, so for that, what I can do, I can import two modules. Okay, yeah. Okay, so these two are the modules that we need for converting the binary again into an image. Okay, so the very first thing I will do, I will do a image data or a image stream variable, and there I will take this bytes IO, and I will pass on my existing binary data with this. Okay, so understand what is happening. The binary data is getting converted into a image stream, not exactly an image file, but a file like object. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, so I'll just name it over here so that it's easier for you to understand. Convert binary data into a file like object. Okay, then opening the image from stream. Okay, I'll take a variable. I will take the image module dot open the image stream. Okay, done. The third one and the last one that we need to do, we need to display the image, right? Okay, to display you also need to import this from IPython. Sorry, P is capital. Okay, now display the image. Okay, so what you can do, you can use the display function, and you can use the img variable, the variable that I have taken here, right? And we know that the binary data is this one, right? The one that we are passing on here. See, the image is now printed. I hope it's clear, everyone. So I hope you all are clear with the primary file handling techniques, right? We have read, we have write, we have append, we have reading binary and all of these things, right? So these are the basic concepts of file handling. The more you practice, the more you will understand that how things work over here. So this is all about file handling. Not a very complex topic, but a very important one. Okay. So make sure that you go through the notebook, make sure that you search by yourself, you practice by yourself in websites like Hacker Rank and all, right? And the more you practice, the more you will get better. Okay. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.